Hello, another solo recording just because this is coming in early in the month and literally just before I'm going to be recording my first of two astrology classes on Insight Timer. So I'm going to be doing two classes this month because, as you'll see if you head over to my blog, January is crazy. My blog post is huge. There's so much in there. And I had to actually pre-record a few videos ahead of my two classes. So it's almost like I'm doing three classes this month because of the amount of content I'm recording, just to talk about the normal things that I discuss, not even like every single transit or especially aspecting transit that could be happening. We just have a lot of ingresses. We have a lot of Cazimis. We have a lot of updates and things going on. So today we're going to be talking about the Venus Cazimi. You might be saying, hey, I don't know what that word is. What's a Cazimi? And it translates roughly to in the heart of the sun. And essentially, it's a fancy word for a conjunction with the sun. If you don't know what a conjunction is, that is when you have two celestial bodies, planets, that meet up in the sky. Not literally, they're not colliding, there's no explosion, but they are lined up relative to us on Earth. So they are at the same exact degree point in the same exact zodiac sign. In this situation, we are talking about Capricorn. And if you have been watching my recent transit videos or attending my classes, you know that Venus has been in Capricorn since December 24th. So what this means in the context of all of that activity moving through Capricorn is that the sun entered first on the 21st. A few days later, 24th, Venus entered. And eventually, Venus caught up. It would have only been, a few degree points behind. But by the time we get to January 6th, they have now caught up with each other. And then Venus is going to pass the sun. So January 6th at 11:35 a.m. Eastern Time at 16 degrees of Capricorn. So that's the degree that you want to go to. The recent videos where I was talking about those ingresses, you're looking at the entire slice of the pie, everything that's in Capricorn. Here, we're just going to a single degree, which means we're talking about one house in your chart. This is also a day that you want to circle on your calendar. Cazimi days are always wonderful days. That being said, of course, we have to contextualize and know where else or the other planets. It doesn't mean it's going to be the best day of your life, but it's going to be very supportive in whatever that area of life is. In this case, 16 degrees of Capricorn. For context, if you want to better understand what these days are like for you, you can go back to the last Venus Cazimi, which was on March 22nd of 2025. This one happened in Aries, which is a different cardinal sign. So it's in a square to this. And it's not going to have the exact flavor because it's in a different sign, it's in a different house, but you can see in essence what the trademarks of a Venus Cazimi are. And to understand that and what you're looking for, they are encouraging flow, ease, creativity, and are supportive of your relationship dynamics. So balancing things out, getting along. If you want to compare a one-to-one of when the last Venus Cazimi was in Capricorn, then you're going to have to go back to January 8th, 2022. So if it's helpful, you can look back at either or both of those dates. See, did anything of significance happen on that date or within the 24 hours of that exact transit? Now, to back us up a little bit, in case you need the refresher, Venus represents peace, harmony, ease, aesthetics, amongst other things. And Capricorn is highly ambitious, tradition-minded, and really a long-term planner. And that's because it is Saturn ruled. Generally, we can expect to honor our boundaries, infuse some artistry in our endeavors, things that we are trying to achieve, accomplish, pursue, and an emphasis on really mutually beneficial partnerships. So we talked about this a little bit with the ingress overall, but this would be viewed as a high point in this transit. So this is where things are peaking, but again, in a highly supportive way. but there is extra attention beyond what we would have already talked about for the transit overall. And of course, we must keep in mind that what's different now from when the ingress started is we have Mercury in the fold as well. So we have more planets in this space and that are not too far from each other in the grand scheme. I had channeled 3 different houses for the chart examples today. We had the 7th, 8th, and the 4th house. If you have this Venus Cazimi occurring in your 7th house, then that means there is an emphasis, especially on your relationship. 7th house already is committed partnership. So that could be business, that could be romantic, marriage, etc. Anything where you're signing a contract, it's meant to last for the long term. There's a lot of overlap with Capricorn energy because it is that long-term planner. It wants to think about if this is working or not. So when you have this Cazimi activation, it's just, there's a very serious energy to it. So it might not feel particularly playful. And it's because of the seriousness of this house, the seriousness of this sign. And Venus is really just checking off the list of like, is this working? Are we in alignment with said contract, the terms of our agreement, and how we're supposed to be getting along and what this relationship is supposed to look like now and for decades moving forward. For the 8th house, which is the next one in line, very serious, very weighty. So similar. I do think it's interesting that these are the ones that I had channeled to talk about because they have such an intensity to them. For the 8th house, that is mental health. That is shared resources, so joint accounts, inheritance, debt, death. So it's death and rebirth and transformation. So there's a lot that is covered in this house. And if you have the Venus Cazimi there, it's, again, infusing some sort of a balance, some sort of connection that's founded. Maybe, just throw some examples out there. Maybe you're dealing with some sort of a financial challenge or issue or something you've been researching or looking into for a long time, or it could help you with coming into money, like receiving money. Like, oh, great, the scales are being balanced and I'm getting a little bit of something that is supportive. That is a possibility. It also could be helping to boost your mental health, how you're thinking about things, seeing it in a little bit of a rosier fashion, not diluted. That would be Neptune moving through Capricorn. But softening the edges of it. So the hope is that this transit overall, Venus moving through this house, would be positive and supportive. But on a Cazimi day, it's especially heightened and empowered. And then finally, we have the 4th house. And that's all about your roots, your ancestry, your family, as well as your physical home. So Venus, which loves to decorate, loves the art, loves the creativity, loves the connection, this works really well and is also very supportive. So this could be a great day if you want to have a project, if you want to redecorate, if you want to, I wouldn't say like organize your space, but just like clean things up, set something up that is making your home, apartment, condo, wherever it is that you're living, feel cozier, feel supportive, feel aligned. Again, because we're talking about Capricorn. Capricorn doesn't really care that much about being warm, cozy, and fuzzy. That's more Cancer, Taurus vibe. But something that will help you in the long term. So if this is oriented towards, I want my home to be better, I want to improve my home, then you're picking up on some of that Capricorn energy. I want to make my home environment more conducive so that I can get work done, or that I can be a better host, or like whatever it is. There's some sort of angle on it of wanting to be better, wanting to optimize. And then you confuse the Venus in by saying, well, maybe it's just redecorating or applying like some feng shui techniques or something to it that will move the energy through, create more flow, create more relaxation, when Capricorn is such an energy that is a little bit more wound up, intense, and focused. If you enjoyed this, make sure to check my other transit videos. I have a bunch of them up on here. And I also have week ahead videos So I do week ahead readings on Insight Timer or pre-recorded depending on my schedule, depending on my channeled calendar, which I do each month. If you want to join any of my live classes, you can go to the link in my bio, find my Insight Timer, and that is where I stream once, twice, periodically 3 times a week. Schedule varies. January, I definitely have a different schedule. It had come through that my schedule for January, February, March is going to be a little bit different. And if you're familiar at all with the astrology, as I am, I've realized in retrospect that that makes a lot of sense. So I'm just going to trust it and follow it because there's a lot going on. So I probably will need the break. Thank you for watching. Definitely check out my schedule for my future classes. Because I will be recording another live class talking about the first round of transits. When this comes out, this is going to be coming out on the 5th. So on the 7th, I'm going to be going live and having a class on Insight Timer talking about the next batch of transits. So if you'd like to join that, you can attend. And otherwise, I will be editing the clips and dropping them onto this feed. And then I'm going to do the same thing next week on the 14th. So you can watch all of those as they come out. I drop them 24 hours before. And then if you want to read the transcript versions or kind of my blog version, you can head over to my blog. And then I also have my 2026 Life Path Calendar. You can get the details for that on my website. That is integrated directly into your phone, your laptop, your tablet, any of your devices. It pops right into your existing calendar app, and you can plan ahead and see everything for the whole year with my little shorthand blurbs. And I will tell you, some of them are pretty long. Some of them are a few paragraphs because I really wanted to give you a lot of information, including what you need to know for the current day, for the history, for future events, and then specifically where to look in your chart. So you can check that out. If you have any comments, questions, feedback on any of my products, but on the calendar as well, you can leave comments. You can send me a message. You can go to my website. You can find my email on there or fill out my contact form. And yeah, I hope to see you here more in this channel or in my live classes. And you can also follow me on social media where I post about what I'm up to, but also just kind of things I'm interested in or things that I'm thinking about or reflecting on or just random stuff that is happening to me. So if you would like to check all that out, then you can go to the link in my bio and get those details.